Okay, Pastor.
Yeah. Pray for the class, Ika. Yeah.
Thank you, Lord Jesus, for today, for the class today. Bless each one of us here. Bless Pastor Kim. We're gonna lead all the discussions, and then bless all the students so we can learn a lot of things from the presentation and discussion here. Thank you, Lord. Bless our heart, bless our mind and our soul, so we can receive all the blessing here, Lord. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Pastor Han, so now is your time. Yeah.
Yes. Let me put it up on the screen.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for attending and listening to my presentation. The topic is Christian business ethics. So the purpose of my paper is that to discuss the Christian values that are important in conducting business with the people, so that it will bring godly blessing and becomes a light and good example to other businesses. So I will try to finish it in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Should it be plenty of time to finish the entire paper?
Mhm.
And the main guiding principle is love your neighbor as yourself. And Matthew 7:12, therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets. And also the other guiding principle, that God is a God of justice, and he wants his people to be just. Psalm 106, verse 3, blessed are they who observe justice, who do righteousness at all times. So these are the guiding principles behind all the values, Christian values, Christian business values. Yes. There are 7 groups of people that interact with any business: the customers, the suppliers, the investors, the competitors, the ruling government, the employees, and the people around the business, the environment around the business. And the rest of the people will discuss how to interact with these groups of people in a godly way. Using this main guiding principle above, there are 2 categories of business ethics. The general business ethics that apply to all the interactions with all the groups, and the specific business ethics that apply to specific groups of people. So I will start with number 1, the general business ethics. Number 1 is honesty. Yeah, the Bible says the integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. But let your yes be yes and your no be no, for whatever is more than this is from the evil one. So it's very important that all the statements, all the product advertisements is honest, and so that it reflects biblical value, godly values, and the business will be blessed in the long run. The second is, this is again general ethics, is to pay your debt, any amount of money that you owe, whether to your customers or to anyone. This is a general principle that you need to pay your debt. Romans 13 verse 8, owe no one anything except to love each other, for the one who loves another has fulfilled the law. The third is to fulfill your promise. The Christian business should honor their promise, even if it means a loss of profit. Numbers 30 verse 2, if a man vows to a vow to the Lord or swears an oath to bind himself by a pledge, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. The fourth general Christian business ethic that applies to everyone is non-discriminatory. It should not discriminate based on sex, race, political affiliation, and religions. Even to the ungodly, we should not discriminate. God is the God of all people, and it is against God's nature to discriminate. Galatians 3:28, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is no male and female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. The fifth, to work hard. The business should have a value to work hard. And laziness is a sin. Proverbs 10:4, a slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. And Christians should work as for the Lord. Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. Colossians 3:23. All right, so again, this will bring blessing to the company when everybody in the company works hard. The sixth general value is conflict resolutions. We know that there will be some conflicts in conducting the business, and the Bible lays out how to resolve. First, directly talk to the affected party. If cannot resolve, bring in independent person to mediate the situation fairly. As the Bible says, if your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he listens to you, you have gained your brother. But if he does not listen, take one or two others along with you, that every charge may be established by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. The seventh value, Christian value, is punctual. It is very important to be punctual on time, and your business will be blessed. 1 Corinthians 14:40, but all things should be done decently and in order. The eighth is non-retaliatory. The Bible teaches not to retaliate against those who wrong us. Beloved, never avenge yourself, but leave it to the wrath of God, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. Romans 12:19. And if possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. Romans 12:18. So we need to be keep peace if at all possible. And then be respectful to others. 1 Peter 2:17, honor everyone, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the emperor. So we need to treat people with respect in our speech and in writing. True to faith. Christian leaders should be true to faith and refuse to do things against their beliefs. There was a recent case in which a web designer they refused to create a website that promoted gay lifestyle, which is against his belief. The case went all the way to Supreme Court, and he won the case. As you know, even though that might be against the law, but he put God above all. Acts 5:29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men. No to corruption. Christian business should not allow corruption to thrive. Things such as bribes, to give an edge, to win contracts with bribes, etc. And you shall take no bribe for a bribe. Bribes the clear-sighted and subverts the cause of those who are in the right. Exodus 23:8. Training and disciplining employees. It is important that the employees are trained to do their job and maintain the values that were discussed. Also, it is important to discipline them accordingly. For the moment, Hebrews 12:11, for the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant, but later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. So very important to train your employees accordingly. Commitment to quality and excellence. So those businesses that are committed to conduct their business with quality excellence will be of great value to its customers and will succeed. Proverbs 22:29. Do you see a man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. Management style needs to have self-control and humility. Management that is tempered, not given over to anger and rage, will command respect from its subordinate and consequently performs well. As therefore, 1 Timothy 3:2, therefore an overseer must be above reproach. The husband of one wife, sober-minded, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, able to teach. Management that is humble is a good listener, and its subordinates will gladly help them make better decisions by giving honest, helpful inputs. Proverbs 11:2, when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with the humble is wisdom. Patience and perseverance. will succeed. Business will succeed eventually when they practice patience and perseverance. Proverbs 13:11, dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. Now we get into specific business ethics toward customers. We need to charge the customers fairly. Proverbs 20:10, unequal weights and unequal measure are both alike an abomination to the Lord. Serve the customer well, have a servant attitude. When the customer treated well, the customer will keep coming back. Matthew 20:26, it shall not be so among you, but whoever will be great among you must be your servant. Toward employees, do not just hire Christians. It is illegal and also deprive the opportunities to witness. Matthew 5:14-16, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor the people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Toward the government, pay your taxes. Matthew 22:21. And he said to them, render therefore to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. Respect for the laws and authority. We need to respect, as Romans 13:1, let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Do not take advantage dishonestly. You know, sometimes the government provide aids, and people take advantage of those dishonestly provided false reports to receive government aids. This took away the funds that should go towards those that truly needed the help. Proverbs 10:2, treasures gained by wickedness do not profit, but righteousness delivers from death.
Amen.
Toward investors of your business, invest wisely. Whatever the appropriate amount of fund must be invested wisely so as to give the best possible financial position of the business. Avoid high risk opportunity that can sink the business to gain money quickly. Proverbs 21:20, precious treasure and oil are in a wise man's dwelling, but a foolish man devours it. A reasonable profit to the owners, but however, it should not charge exorbitant amount of profit to its customers. As the Bible says, Philippians 2:4, let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. I'm almost done here. I have 5 more minutes. Toward competitors, please don't badmouth, maliciously attack by your competitors by giving them a bad name. 1 Peter 2:2, put away all malice and all deceit and hypocrisy and envy and all slander. Hurting your competitor financially, maliciously, maybe by lowering the prices, and then the competitors went out of business. Matthew 5:44, but I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. To the surrounding communities, donate to worthy causes. To the poor in the surrounding communities, even non-believers do that. Food pantries, housing the homeless, free mental health assistance and drugs rehabilitations. Proverbs 19:17, whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deed. Disabled, they cannot make a living without your assistance. Create job opportunities that can utilize them. Luke 14:13-14, when you give a feast, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed, because they cannot repay you, for you will be repaid at the resurrection of the just. Fairness to employees, give them fair wages and benefit. Do not hold back their promotion whenever it is earned. Colossians 4:1, masters, treat your bondservants justly and fairly, knowing that you also have a master in heaven. Respectful to the supervisors, employers should respect and submit to the supervisors. Ephesians 6:5, bondservant, obey your earthly master with fear and trembling, with a sincere heart, as you would Christ. Do not pollute the air, water, and land, and affecting your surrounding communities and future generation. Mitigate pollution with solar, electricity, electric vehicle, garbage recycling, etc. Number of 35, 30 to 34, you shall not pollute the land in which you live. Yes, and etc. And Psalm 24:1, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. Conclusion, my conclusion, Christian business should conduct their business according to the Bible. In this way, God will bless the business and becomes a blessing to all it touches. Also, this will bring glory to God and becomes a living witness to unbelievers. Thank you for listening.
Wow. And praise the Lord. Yeah. Okay. Any questions or comments?
Yes.
Yes, Professor.
Okay.
Yes, question.
Okay, Moses. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That is perfect. That is very good presentation from my brother. I have few questions. Number one, what motivated you to come out with research on business ethics? What was the problem? Then number two, what are your personal experience about the business? Have you ever done it? What are your personal experience? And the last one is, what opportunity do you see? I heard you came to Uganda. What opportunity of business did you see in Uganda? And how can you partner with the students, especially in Uganda, to do that? Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a lot of questions, Pastor. I don't know if I can remember all three, but anyways, thank you for your questions. Now, the first one, what motivated me, is very important because there are a lot of Christian business owners, in Uganda, in America, and it's very important that they know and they become a witness, right? And that's what motivated me, and we can become an example. That was the number one motivation I have, and this is oh yeah, I will do that. His brother Walusimbi, yeah, I will do that, and to forward it on WhatsApp. Thank you. And so it is very important that all business needs to, I hope they my business can become a guideline. My paper here, I did quite a bit of research, so that was my motivation to help business owners who are Christians. The second, what are my experience? I have a small business. As I shared before, when I was in Uganda, I'm both a minister and also I have a small business. It's not a huge business, just home-based business, small business out of my house. Okay, I just have a few employees, and so all the things that I share, I experience it myself. But we are not a big business, so there's no problem with pollution. Just we're just small business. But I did put it there. And the third, what opportunities that I see in Uganda, I thought it was when I was there, I shared with some pastors there that possible business opportunity, because I as an entrepreneur, I always have ideas, I always have ideas. So if you want to know what it is, you can just WhatsApp me. I'm gonna put my WhatsApp right here, and I will be gladly share with you. Okay, I'll give you my WhatsApp number. If you want ideas.
Yes.
That pastors can possibly do because we are minister, and we need to have some kind of income, and not too dependent so much on the people we are ministering. So that's a very good question. Just WhatsApp me directly. I have a couple of ideas.
Okay.
And to be honest, we might even attract some investors from other Christians. I mentioned in my sharing that there are kings, right? The kings and the priests, where if we can attract some kings, perhaps they can help invest there. So absolutely, just WhatsApp me.
Okay, praise the Lord.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Brother David Camera, you have a question or comments?
Yes, Professor. I want to appreciate my brother, Pastor Han, for the wonderful presentation. My question is to him, Pastor Han, what are some of the businesses that you think would be fit for a Christian to do, and which ones? Because I've seen Christians when it comes to business, they are mixed up with everything. They're not decided which kind of business, and they say this is not godly, this is not a godly business. Sometimes it's because they lack some maybe guidance. But what would you recommend on which kind of businesses Christians would do, and they are not contradicting their faith?
Well, of course, has to be a legitimate, honest business. But for like I said, for a Christian leaders or ministers, make sure that you are not. I would say a good a balance is maybe like 30% business, 70% ministry for pastors, something like that. And then make sure you have your wife, if you have a wife, that can also assist you, and that would be great help. That's exactly what we did here. My wife assists me, and even though I only give 30% of my time, 70% to ministry, because we are ministering. Our main calling is ministering, and that works out well. So make sure that it's a small business. That's for pastor. Does that answer your question? But if you want exactly what kind of business, I'll give you my WhatsApp number, and also somebody who wants my presentation, please WhatsApp me directly, and I'll give you the PDF. Does that answer your question, Brother
Thank
David?
you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, Brother Joseph, you have a comment or question?
Thank you, and Dr. Lukito, thank you very much for that elaborate presentation.
Everybody, I'm not a doctor, I'm a candidate.
Hans, I have a change where you talked of business training and discipline, but we have Christian brothers and sisters, when they are given jobs, they report on time, but most of the times they are either in the Bible or in small groups at the place of work praying, presupposedly praying. What would be your piece of advice to such brethren who use their time that's scheduled for their work, but they're doing their prayer or Bible studies?
Okay, I'm still not clear your question. I guess the African accent sometimes throws me off. So are you saying that some people are crook? They're preying on Christian? Is that what you're asking? I'm sorry.
When they get to their places of work or in their businesses, when they are employed,
yes,
engage in prayer and Bible studies instead of concentrating on their work. What is your take about such a brethren?
Oh, sure. Thank you for the question. Yeah, at the work, you have to concentrate on work. And if there is a prayer, if you are a Christian business owner, you can probably after work or before work, you know, definitely the time for work is the time for work. And you know, they have breaks in between. Probably they can have their devotion, you know, there. But when it's work time, you need to establish a clear schedule of work and not be interrupted by your devotion, Bible studies. That should be outside the time. Is that answer your question?
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Brother Ben, you have a comment or question?
Yes, it is a question to Pastor Han. Thank you very much. Pastor Han, among the groups of people that you should interact with are competitors. And competitors can be your fellow business people working next to you, doing the same business. What would you do to people who are your competitors? You have said that you are selling cement, and for them, they are selling at a lower price. And the reason why they are selling at a lower price is because they corrupt to revenue guys. They pay less taxes, and they end up coming with goods to their business, and they reduce on the price. And for you, a Christian, you want to be faithful, you pay the recommended tax, so you have to hike a bit your business. And then you find yourself, your competitors are selling more because of that lower price. And then they end up going back, they bring more, going back, bring more. But for you, you are still stuck with your business, with your stock, and that your customers are not coming. They are going to your next competitors. What would you do in such an instance? Thank you.
Yeah. So again, because of the African accent, so you saying that the competitor is charging lower prices.
Yes.
And then lower prices, and you're stuck with your stock.
Your stock. Yes.
And what are we supposed to do, right?
Yes, and because they are selling more, it's because they corrupt revenue people. They pay less taxes. So they come with goods. Yes, yes.
Yeah, they corrupt, they pay less taxes so they can operate with less lower costs, correct?
Yes.
So, well, you know, you can compete with you don't want to like not pay tax, okay? And if they undercut the prices like that, well, of course you have to lower your price as low as you can, and you provide honest. Let me tell you this: if person is corrupt, okay, their business will reflect that. The business will reflect. You don't have to worry, okay, and eventually God will bless you, and your customer will see that you are an honest person. And if you have those values that we just talked about, they will love you. I'm telling you right now, I operate a business, and some people, you know, they try to do that, but God protected me, and my customer keep coming back to me because I am honest, I have good service, and that's the reason why we are on top. We always on top. Maybe the prices is higher, but because of those godly values, I'm telling you, they should preserve the Christian business. Those people who are corrupt, I don't think they are really have Christian value in their business. That's my recommendation. Stick with your values, and God will bless you. If not, hey, maybe it's not a good business. Do something else.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Brother Jimmy Okidi, you have a comment or question?
Yeah, I have a question. I have two questions. I'm sorry I'm late today. I've been struggling with network for over 30 minutes, but I've done. Am I on air?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, very
yes,
good.
Thank you, Anne. I went through your notes and it was a good presentation.
Mm.
We have two practical problems here in Uganda. The biggest problem is that, or challenge, so I want your view about it. We have many Christians who are involved, who are working in alcohol production and sales.
Mm.
You're getting me?
Mm.
And many of
Production
them,
sales. Production sales.
production and sales of alcohol.
Al,
Or-
al, al,
or-
alcohol?
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Alcohol. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. So many people keep coming asking that, should I work in the alcohol factory or sales of alcohol?
Mhm.
So that's a challenge that bothers many Christians. Then number two, some of our churches are at the border of Kenya and Uganda, and the materials across the border, they're cheaper than that of Uganda. So many Christians, they smuggle goods across the border in order to escape taxes, so that they sell cheaply, because taxes in Uganda is very, 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 very expensive.
Yes.
So what advice would you give to Christians who engages in smuggling? For them, they say, there's no crime about it, there's no sin about it. Would you advise them to continue smuggling in order to get more profit? And how about those who work in the production and sales of alcohol as Christians? Thank you.
Yeah. So, if it's a business, I'm going to address number two first. It's definitely against the law. It's definitely against Christian value, because it is smuggling. It's against the law. And I don't recommend to do business like that, because it's against God's will. And the first one about alcohol. Well, alcohol is legal business. It's legal. It's not illegal, right? And it's a legal business. However, so I don't see anything wrong with selling alcohol as long as it is legal. But what people do with the alcohol is up to them, because in a good, I mean, not in a huge amount, but in the correct amount, it's actually beneficial. Like wine, it's beneficial for our health. But of course, a lot of people get drunk with it, and that's up to them. But selling alcohol itself is not illegal. It's good. So
Well,
that's my take. It's not illegal. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Balji?
Well, yeah, it answers my question. But why people are bothered about selling alcohol is because majority of people, they abuse alcohol.
Yeah.
So many Christians argue that selling is also promotion. You're promoting what makes people drunk and go out of law. So that's a very serious ethical dilemma in Uganda.
Yeah, it is.
I hope
No, I understand.
other people from Uganda are listening too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here in America, it's the same thing. And I heard that one of the ladies, she gave a testimony that she has a liquor store which she sells that alcohol, and one of her customers drive after he drunk and drive and got killed. So she realized that, wow, I am the one who give a kind of cost, because if I didn't sell that alcohol, he may not drunk that night, and he might be he may not die. So that's why she closed the business. So I think that depends on each individual's conviction. Like Pastor Han, he think that also where we Christians can drink a little bit, it's okay. but some say no way. So it depends on, I think. And like a Southern Baptist, okay, we should not drink anything like that. Yeah. So
well, Pastor, even Jesus, he miraculously created wine and for consumption in the wedding, and it was a large amount of wine.
well, there are some arguments, right?
Yeah,
because because Jesus said, "Do not get anything from the vine until I come back." So that some people said yes, so we forbid completely for that. But some people said, well, Apostle Paul said to Timothy, do
That's
not
right.
just drink water, but some have some wine. So some pastors, well, this is not really wine. This is a medicine, so I'm drinking. So they try to justify, but well, this is the argument. Yeah.
Well, you know, as a liquor store, Pastor, if you want to help out, you can put like warning: do not drink and drive, and do you know, just alcohol is addictive. You know, you could have things like that. It is a difficult issue.
Yeah. What else?
Brother Daniel is
Daniel. Oh yeah.
raising his hand.
Okay. Untambi Daniel. Yeah, Daniel Untambi. Unmute your phone. Yeah.
Thank you, Pastor Han, for this professional presentation.
Thank you.
Item, I'm looking at your item 4.8, where you are quoting Romans 12:9, not to retaliate.
Yes.
When we are being wronged in business. But don't you think that sometimes it requires legal intervention? I'm looking at a scenario where you are selling some of your services or goods on credit, and the customer is not paying. Don't you think that one now allows legal interventions to clear out these unfortunate scenarios?
Well, you know, it happened to me actually, and in America here in United States, you report those to the credit bureau, right? So then they're gonna have a difficulty to get credit from other suppliers. In America, you can report them. I'm not sure in Uganda. So that's one thing. As far as taking to court and all those, it's a you know, if you really want to take court, it's your right to do that. What I'm saying is do extra if it is your right, do exercise it with caution, prayers. Just don't have a retaliatory attitude, but you do what you have to do. Again, the Bible said to love your enemy, right? Love your enemy. So that's your enemy right there. And it happened to me. I had an enemy who didn't pay me substantial amount of money. You know, I was starting the business and I didn't know any better, and you know, it almost sank me financially. And you know, I also at that time consider to hire a violent debt collector, right? But I pray about it, and the Lord said, "Don't do that." That's a sure way to get the money back, is to hire a debt collector, you know, and they're gonna pressure them and their family. But I didn't want to do that. You know, I just pray to God, and I tell them nicely, you know, hey, you need to pay back when you have the money. And I keep doing that for a couple of years, and I pray that they will have financial success. And you know what? My patience paid off. In a couple of years, he became rich. He became rich, and he called me up. I'm going to pay your debt. You are a wise businessman. Other businessmen, debt collector and everything, but you are very nice to me. You know, very courteous, very respectful. So I'm going to pay you first. So you know, we just pray about it. You know.
Okay. Any other questions or comment, please? Yeah. Okay, Joseph, Brother Joseph, you have a question? Yeah.
Yes, it's a simple comment. Professor, would you recommend a Christian brother or sister to work in a factory that produces alcoholic drinks?
Well,
because we have
yeah,
scenarios here in Uganda.
we just mentioned about it. We just mentioned about it. The Pastor Han, I think that he's more generous than me. So yeah, he's a more business oriented man. Yeah, it depends on individuals, and then God search for your heart, right? So yeah, I think that you cannot force it. But to me, I don't recommend that any church members working at the liquor store or produce alcohol. Yeah. This is a really in America in the history. When we observe that the Lord's communion, we drink our, we use wine, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And the problem was that, after we do, and there are some leftover alcohols, right?
Yes.
And then some elders, they drank and drunk in the church. So what can we do? So the man named Welch is a good Christian man. And then, okay, do not use alcohol for the Lord's communion. Yeah. Use this grape juice. So he started a grape juice, and then that all the churches let them use a grape juice for they observe the Lord's communion. And now his business is really blessed. You know what I mean? So the big brand actually of the grape juice, in America. But I don't know. So I told you that already argument in the Bible argue that like Hans' point of view is that, well, Jesus, he drank. And my point of view said, Jesus, when, he said that until I come back, do not take anything from the vineyard. Yeah. So no wine product, no alcohol. So that's what we understood. But Apostle Paul, well, yeah, for the medication for your stomach, you can drink wine a little bit. Yeah. So, it depends on, but don't drink. Yeah.
Don't drink.
Yeah. And then do not drink in the public place. You got a big trouble then. Yeah. Maybe at your home secretly or in your room. Lock the door that your children do not see you drink.
Yes, Professor.
Okay. Oh, okay. David Chimera, yes. Ask Han. Yeah, he is expert. Okay.
I think I can sympathize with Pastor Han
Okay.
about his honesty, because the Bible says that whatever God created should be taken by prayer and thanksgiving. Nothing should be rejected. I think that is inclusive also. Wine is inclusive, so long as it is taken with a prayer and thanksgiving and in moderation. I think it's also creation. But anyway, I wanted to ask Pastor Han about it's anyway, you have answered a little bit of it. People take advantage of Christians in most cases when they know that this is a Christian. They make sure that they take advantage of you, especially non-believers. For example, I have a friend of mine who started a small store, but almost the store is almost collapsing because they take things on credit. They oh, pastor, help us, pastor, I have nothing to eat. Pastor, I will pay. And at the end of the day, the business almost collapses. So how do you advise a believer when it comes to people like that? They are non-believers and they think you as a Christian, you cannot refuse, but you have to borrow them those things that they want. Of course, you see their need, and almost everyone wants to come and take things on credit, but you have at the end of the day to go back and purchase things from the suppliers to your business. How would you advise on that?
Well, we do our good deeds to the poor, like I mentioned in the paper. So we have some budget for that. However, we cannot just cause the business to collapse. That is not God's will. So I'm sorry, it's we don't have enough to give. That's just set a budget and pray about it. If God say that's a good budget, you stick with that, and that's the best you can do. I mean, you don't want to collapse your business. I don't think that's God's will for you. Does that answer your question, Brother David?
Yeah.
Thank you, Pastor Han.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other question, please? Any other? Okay. Yeah, Pastor Han, you said that the 4.7 there be punctual, right? So if you are, the not late, keep the time very well, be punctual, then God will bless, right? Bless the business,
Yes.
right? So how about our class? If you are all students, you are be punctual, then you will be more blessed, right? So should I give some extra? And then those who are late, and then just give some kind of a yeah. Oh yeah. There are some people come earlier and then wait, and then some people come late. So I have to bless somebody, and I have to punish somebody, right? Those who are late. Yeah. One thing, this is really practical. I saw that some Christians, when they have a business and they have like 10, 20 the employees, and then also think about the church also. Some big churches, they have like 10, 15 associate pastors and these things. Their working environment is not good. And then, well, because you're Christian, you must be patient and must endure all these kind of sufferings. Yeah, for God. And then also, they don't give, each companies, they should have some kind of benefits for the full-time employees, like such as insurance and these things. So, well, because you are Christian, we are all Christians, so, and then in the name of Christians, they reduce the benefits. And the owner took it. And then also, one of the companies, I saw it. Of course, he's an elder at the church. He's a good Christian, but he asked all the employees have a worship time once a week in the morning, early morning, like when they start the work at 8 o'clock, but come like 7 o'clock, and then have a worship time, and then give a tithe. Because of this is for the mission, and you must give a tithe. So abuse it. But
yes.
some people, they worry about, so they give, because if they don't give, they might be fired. How about the things? How do you think?
Well, Pastor Dr. Kim, it's you cannot force. God doesn't want to force people to believe Him. God gave a freedom of choice, and in the business is illegal. Here in America, you cannot force that. You can have business Christian values. That is always is never against the government. But to force that that kind of attendance to Bible study or worship service, tithe, it's illegal, and also it is not. God never wants you to do that. But you become an example and you encourage them freely. Not by force.
Yeah. So yeah, but Christians, in the name of Christians, they could abuse that. So we have to be very careful. Yeah.
Well, I will be, right here that we have some cases where the employees live with the employer, right? Live in. Well, in the house. So in that case, they have to follow the rule of the house because they live in a house. They have to worship together. Otherwise, yeah, they get, cannot live because that will affect the home atmosphere. So that's a different matter. But if they live a different household, you cannot have that kind of rule.
Yeah. Also, this is another thing in America. It's happening in LA. One of the Asians, he has a business in the black community, and then he makes some money from from the black community. He has stores. He owns a grocery store and also laundromat. But he lives in a far away, like 30 miles away, and some safe place. In his mind, this is a rich man. But he did not, I mean, so for the customer's point of view, this is the black area. This man just come and get the money and then go out. He never reinvest to the community. So
Right.
one day they are so angry and broke the grocery stores and took all things out.
Right.
Yeah. So especially we Christians, we must do something. When you have some money, then you must reinvest to the community. Otherwise, they got angry.
Yeah, I did mention that in the paper that you need to give back to the community. So otherwise, they might hate you.
Yeah. And then also I spoke out to the Korean businessmen, especially they have a business in the underdeveloped country. And then you must support the missionaries, because the missionaries are helping the local community, but these businessmen just go there and just earn money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a real, legally it's okay, but ethically it's not right. So,
not right.
Yeah. And then also I mentioned about earlier time that be punctual, but some people argues that. Of course, this is wrong application, but there are some people do that. Yeah, the Jesus parable said that the owner of the business, the vineyard, called the workers. So some people come from the early morning and work, and some people come afternoon and work few hours, but they got the same wage. Yeah.
Yes.
So is this right?
That is actually not talking about business. I believe it's talking about salvation.
Yeah, this is salvation. But
salvation.
some people try to argue that, but of course this is a violate labor
yes,
law, the law of labor. Yeah, but
yes, yes, but it's not talking about of course the owner can do whatever they want, but that will create jealousy, right? Jealousy and unfairness to the one who came early in the morning.
Yeah.
But as the owner of the business, they have a right to do that. But it's bad for business. It's bad for business.
Yeah.
However, what Jesus was telling is about salvation.
Yeah, that's a salvation Jesus meant. But if you apply like that to the business, and everybody will come late.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that's not the point.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Ika has a question.
Oh, Ika, you have a question? Because you didn't. Okay, go ahead.
You're mute.
Do you advise do business with our church member? As an employee or as a customer? I mean, do business the church member as customer or hire them as our employee, as an employee? Because they sometimes they see us as a pastor, and then like Pastor Kim said, when the pastor got mad. When they got mad, they thought they are a pastor.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like a double standard.
Yeah. Okay. I understand. Okay, Pastor Han, you want a response for that?
Yeah, this thing happens quite a bit actually in churches because you know we businesses happen in the church. So well, try not to do because if you do business with the your congregation directly, there is a possible conflict that could happen.
Yeah.
So let me just illustrate. You know, at one time there was a real estate agent that wanted to get the business from us, but you know the person is one of our congregation, and anyway, it didn't work out, and they got angry. How come we didn't give them business? Give it to person who is not in the congregation. So it becomes an issue. But if we apply it across the board, I mean to the all congregation, we actually do not want to do business if possible. Then maybe in the beginning we shouldn't do that. You know.
Yeah.
To protect the relationship, because things can go sour pretty fast if you know it didn't work out.
Yeah. Especially if you are pastor, yeah, I recommend that don't do it. The reason is that as a pastor, when you are in the church, you must warm and then also must be generous. But when you are in the business, you sometimes you must very strict for that. And then for the employees, if that person is a church member, then they will see you as a hypocrite. Oh, at the church he's nice, look, you know, as pretend that he's good man, but when he comes to business, no, he's horrible man. That kind of things, and then this kind of when they suspicious about you or criticize you, they cannot listen your sermon, and then they become a troublemaker. So you better not do it. Yeah. Especially for the wrong run. Yeah. Any other questions, please? Okay. All right. Thank you, Pastor Han. And then we'll have a 5 minutes break. And Ika, you ready? Okay.
Yeah, Pastor.
Okay. We'll come back in 5 minutes. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Pastor.
Okay. So let me put your paper there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll start right now. Good evening and good morning to all the students. Today, my topic is about the biblical perspective on self-defense. The general objective of this paper is to discuss 3 ethical questions from the Christian pacifist group or non-violent group, and then from the biblical point of view from my research. The question is about self-defense, serving in the military, and owning firearms. So the scope of study is only limited to the Christian believers. Point of view and the contextual situation in America. Chapter 2, pacifist argument. Some Christian denomination advocate for strict non-violent. They call the group name is pacifism. So they interpret the teaching and example of Jesus that Christians should never engage in violence, even to defend themselves or others. They would. It means that Christians shouldn't own gun for self-defense or join military. Example of this group are the Mennonites, Amish, and Quakers. So the pacifists, using the Bible verses Matthew 22:34-40, he said that you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So according to them, the neighbor is there is no difference yet between friends or enemy. So all our neighbors, you need to love both of them. And then they also use the Bible verse Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemaker. They're following Jesus' example because Jesus bring peace to the world, so they also have to bring peace to the world. And also the last verse they use is Matthew 5:38-39. All of you already know this verse is about the if someone slap you on the right cheek, turn to the other cheek to get slapped too. So they said that we should not defend, but we should not retaliate or defend ourselves. That's what they said, non-violence. Chapter 3, I do some research about how the Christian, how the Bible view about the self-defense and the use of force. I have a different opinion from the pacifist group regarding the Matthew 5:38-39. This verses is not talking about the self-defense, or it's talking about do not retaliate when somebody's wrong you. Jesus directly referring to the Old Testaments in Exodus 21:24. So this one is Jesus trying to teach us that we should not retaliate evil with evil, right? Insult with insult. So this verse is not talking about self-defense, but it's talking about to stop the retaliation. And also the other one is the second verses is the Exodus 22, 2-3 about when a thief break into your house. The verses said that if they break in at night, you can kill them. But if the sun already rise, if you kill the thief, you are a murderer here, right? So this is kind of give us illustrate that God give us permission to defend ourselves if there is a bad guy coming to our house. But God give us some guideline here. What is justified killing and what is justified killing or what is the murder? So if the thief come at night, you're not aware, so you will not use a very harsh to kill them, because you don't know when they come. But if the sun's already right, so you prepare, and then you might kill them. You will kill them very hard. So this is the Bible give a guidelines like that. So it means that if you it means that make sure you do not plan to kill, right? But if you plan premediate the killing, it's a sin. So example, a thief come to your house at night, and then somehow the thief escape, and then you know the person is, and then you go after that person in the morning, and then you kill him. The Bible says you murder him. But if you kill him at night at your house, it's not a murder. That's the guideline. This just to differentiate, to make sure that you're not purposely killing a person because of revenge, anger, like that. And also the Bible gives us guideline that God allow people, the Israel to bring gun, weapon to defend from the villain. If you see in the Esther 8:3-6, so the Israel have a gun to against the Haman. All right. Chapter 4 is self-defense during persecution. Usually this one is happen. We see in the scriptures in the book of Acts. We see a lot of Christian being persecuted. A lot of Jesus' disciples being persecuted, but they do not. They do not defend themselves. They know that when they die for Jesus, it is a martyr. They die for Jesus. They because they love for Jesus here. I'm not gonna talk too much about this one. Let's move on to number 5. So there are 3 questions here that I want to discuss, and then I like to get opinion from all of you too. We might have a different opinion on this one. The first question is chapter number 5, how Christians defend themselves. According to pacifist group, we should not defend. God will punish them, basically. So, but we are living in different right now. We are living in the modern era. Let's talk about it. How Christian defend themselves when the thief breaking into our house, or what do you do when bad people trying to kidnap, rape, or rob you? So as Christian follower, we do not want to take my personal opinion, we try not to take any life, including the criminal life. We try to minimize. We try not to do that, not to take any life here. I mean, not to kill the attacker or not to kill the someone, the robber here. However, this is our job to protect ourselves, to protect our family and our house, our belonging here. So my approach is, when someone breaking into your house or someone trying to kidnap you, to rob you, we have to try to try the non-violent action first. Like example, for the house, make sure you have a defense on your house, like you have a security system, alarm system, you lock your house, right? And then for the, make sure you don't go at night. That's one of the preventive to get attack, right? Don't go at night. Don't go to the place that is not safe. That's one of them. But if you still get attacked, you still get robbed, what do you do here? So when the thief come to your house, what do you do? In my opinion, we should not confront the robber because they might have a gun, and then they're usually violent. If possible, we just run away or we hide and then call the police right away, right? Or let them take our belongings. So don't worry about our stuff, right? So the goal is not to anybody to get injured here. I know after that we have to report them to the police. So this is right now we have the government here. The government is the God ordained government to protect the citizen, to punish the criminal. So this is we are a citizen. We report them. So let them be the one who capture the criminal. So that's my approach. But of course, if not possible, you maybe you need to kick them. You need to do the violent. That's the last resort to do. How about there's another thing is currently a lot of people, Christian also, we not just physical attack, we got also bully or abuse, verbally abuse, bully by like the children got bullied at the school, got bullied at the workplace. Our spouse or our parent also abuse us verbally. What do we do here? Should we attack them back? Should we abuse them back? Or you? So the guideline here is, my opinion. The Bible said that on the Matthew 5:38-42, turning the other cheeks. This is when you have to use this Bible verse. When somebody bully you or abuse you, make sure you did not retaliate with another bully, right? That's what the Bible verse means. Do not retaliate, do not attack back, but make sure you protect yourself. Like you report the bully to the school, report the bully to the police, and then and also have a restraining order. If this your spouse abuse you, you can get a restraining order to get away from that one. So it makes sure you not retaliate, because God said that God want us to not return the retaliation here, because God said that revenge is mine. Let God the one who revenge for you. Okay. The other one is that's how my approach is. We try not to use the violent acts. And another question is, can Christians serve in military? The pacifists, of course, they do not agree Christians serve in the military because they said that the Sixth Commandment forbid from killing anything, right? And also on the so they don't agree to join the military or to become the police officer. They said that one of the pacifists name is Myron August Bigger said, how can we kill another human being for whom Jesus died? How can we adopt this attitude that Jesus loves you, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to kill you? That's why they do not agree to serve in the military. But my opinion on this issue is the pacifist is not really only take the contents take the whole thing, the Bible, the whole thing. So when Jesus said on the sixth commandment, do not kill, if you see the Greek word, the killing here is when you let me make sure here. So let me repeat. So the Bible distinguishes between unlawful killing and lawful killing. So the Bible prohibits murder, which is the unlawful taking a human life, but the Bible permits lawful killing such as in the war or when carrying the capital punishment under the authority of the state. The right to take human life lawfully was given by God in Genesis 9. So make sure, so the Bible gives guidelines, lawful killing and unlawful killing here. So, so I agree. We are as also in the Roman 13, we have to obedient to the government here. One of our obedience as citizen is if you are convicted to join the military, you should, or become the policeman here, you should. So in my so my opinion on this one is a biblical to join a military here.
Okay.
The last question is about, should Christian civilian own firearm for self-defense? So as you know, right now there is a lot of the level of violence in our community have increased. Lately in America, every couple months there's a mass shooting in the public area, and then so a lot of people concerned, should the teacher have a gun in the classroom? Should we carry gun in everyone carry gun here? So there is a study that the robber or the thief less likely to attack us if they know that we have gun. That's the study here. So the Bible didn't prohibit us to have gun. In the Bible, we can see that when Jesus going to go to heaven, he tell his disciples to carry gun, because they know they're gonna have having difficulties, so they should carry gun. In the Luke 22, chapter 36, 38. Also David and also they have also carry gun here. So ultimately, there is nothing sinful about owning a gun. But my opinion on this about the gun is, I do not own firearm and do not suggest civilian to own any gun. That's my opinion. Why? Because firearms are tools used for protection against the bad people. Firearms do not kill people, but the people kill others using firearms. The person who owns it must be responsible and have a good attitude toward firearms. But unfortunately, many irresponsible citizens can own the gun because they can legally buy gun right now. So many firearms are right now end up in the hand of the thief, robbers, drug dealer, and even the mentally disabled citizen. So most of the shooting here happen because of they are mentally have a mental problem here. In America, so I emphasize again here, we are living in the modern area. We have a government and law to protect the citizen. So we should call the police when we got threatened or we got victimized by others. And government and law are ordained by God to protect us. So we should trust our government. If the situation changes in the future, then we can no longer trust our government. I might revisit my view on owning firearms. So also, it's very important, we are as a Christian, do not let our heart be controlled by fear, anger, or revenge, because all of these can lead us to take justice on our own. We become police to others. We might kill others here because we are very angry. We want to take revenge here. With the gun, it's very easy to kill people. That's why I don't agree the civilian to have gun. So last one's the conclusion here. So the conclusion is the pacifism is unbiblical in their self-defense argument. The Bible does support self-defense, and then we should submit to government authorities and then believe that they trust them, they will protect us because they are a God ordained the government here. Thank you. That's all my presentation today. If any question, let me know. If you want to share, if you have a different opinion on that 3 questions that I shared before, let me know.
Okay. Brother Philip, Rocky Philip. Yeah. You have a comment or message? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. Yes. I have question. I have some points here to raise.
Yes.
There is a system of being of self-defensing by being offensive. You understood?
There is a
self-defense by being offensive, like how America does it. And there are some pastors like who say, "Oh God, may you kill somebody because it's too much." But there is room. There must be a room for that soul to go to heaven. Like if a person needs to go to heaven, needs a chance to stay alive. But when it is too much, that person should go for the survival of God's people.
Okay.
And another point, those are 2 points. Then another point is like here in Uganda, like you have said, like you don't support people to own guns, like to own guns on their own. But here in Uganda, we see the government is trying to suppress people taking off their guns from some people who are like Karamojongs. And here, it would be better if people own guns, democracy would be it would be more just. If people own the guns, the government would know, oh, these people can take up their rights. And yeah, I think those are my points, 3 of them. Self-defense by being offensive.
Oh, okay. So you mean the people in Karamanjong here, right? So it's better they have they have a gun on their own so they can protect their community.
Okay, they are protecting their own cattle, but the government took away their guns.
Let me ask you this: is there there is a problem, I guess, right, between the government and the people in Karamajong? I mean, they're not the government and the people there, they're not getting along together, right?
No, but that's a section of people. But here in Uganda, the government has infringed on a lot of people's rights. Okay, according to my opinion.
Yeah.
And it is moving to the left with China.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. This is has to be owning a gun. Has to be analyzed case by case. I guess probably in Uganda it needed to own a gun to protect, because it looks like the government cannot protect the citizen. But in America, right now the law is quite good.
No, it can. But the thing is that they have overtaken the rights in their hands. Like if it was in America, like okay, like Rachel Joyce Scott in 1999 was killed by gun violence, but as a student came and just shot people, and then she was also killed within the situation. But she was a Christian. But here, the advantage of owning a gun, it is that people own that self defense. They say that like a Sunnis pastor was saying, that you don't wait for the government to protect your soul, to protect itself, protect you. You have to protect yourself. You shouldn't wait for the government to protect you. The protection it begins with yourself. So if the government is like taking rights into people's hands, like it is taking now 40 years in power.
Okay.
Then it means like owning a gun in America, it would be like independence. Shows a values of independence.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, I think the situation in Uganda is different than here. I
Yeah.
understand maybe it's good idea. I'm not sure it's a good idea or not.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah.
still don't agree.
Okay, I'm sorry that I'm gonna cut off the Philip. I'm sorry, you are not in my class. I don't know how you come in. Okay, brother Jimmy Okiri, you have a comment or a question? Yeah.
I had two questions to make, but let me begin by responding to that brother. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I think what he's talking about is political and it's wrong to discuss on air. Well, the government of Uganda is not infringe on people's right pertaining to ownership of guns. The government permits every citizen to own a gun. Whoever wants to have a gun is free to have a gun, but should be under license. It should be licensed, not illegal possession of guns. That's out of law. Junks, their rights don't infringe because they are using the guns. They bought those guns illegally, possess them illegally, and use those guns. And that's wrong. All the guns. But those who have the licenses, including a farmer, a businessman, people in the government, they are free to rent a gun from the government, to have a license to own a gun. That's the right position for Uganda. We should interpret it differently.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think I'm clear with that.
Okay.
Now, I have two concerns to make. Number one, in case somebody breaks into your house and you make an alarm, and then people come to try to rescue you, the people come to rescue you, and then they end up arresting those robbers, beat them almost to the point of death. What would you say? Would you call the police to rescue that robber, or you do him by mob justice? That's a very practical situation here in Uganda. And then number two, maybe you answer that, then I ask the second question. Or I ask both. And then number two, there's many preachers that go with police or military escorts whenever they're going out to preach. They go with the escorts and the bodyguards. While they are preaching, the bodyguards are there with the guns in the military or police uniform. While they are preaching the gospel in the open air crusade. What recommendation, what advice would you give for such preachers who go with the armed men on uniform? Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, brother Jimmy. Let me ask the number two. The preacher use a military escort and then they bring gun, right? So I guess it's the one who carry the gun is the military here, not the civilian. So I think it's okay because the preachers they need to get protection too. This part of their self-defense here. As long as the one who carry the gun, my opinion, as long as the carry the gun is not the civilian, the one who carries the police, then it should be okay.
Well.
The first question is I didn't really catch it. So the robber came to the house, right? And then some people try rescue you.
You make an alarm and people come to rescue you. They get up the robbers, beat him, and almost kill him. Would you call the police to rescue him, or would you allow them kill?
Okay. I still believe in life, so I don't agree to kill anybody, even they are a robber or they're bad people. So I have to call the police, so the police can separate. And then let the law or the court decide whose fault is that. I still call the police, so that hopefully the robber didn't die, and then let the court decide whose fault is that. Yeah. Did I answer your question? Yeah, there's a lot. I saw a lot happening also in Indonesia here when a thief trying to rob somebody's house, and then the people, the neighbor, they kill, they hit very hard the thief. Almost die. The thief almost die. I feel bad too, because sometimes when they steal, they steal. It's not that I know stealing is stealing, but they just feel like they're stealing their chicken, their animal, their stuff. Yeah, I feel bad for them too. Okay. We shouldn't encourage people to attack the criminal. We should just call the police and then let the police take care of the criminal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Sister Angela, you have a comment or a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, in a case of domestic violence, there are situations where there is domestic violence and one of the couple kills the other. What advice would you give in response to? Should you just allow to be battered and killed? If the survival of one is the killing of the other, what advice would you give?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Before it is happen, it is very. We suggest that the person has to get away right away before it happens. You can see the sign when your spouse keep hitting you, keep hit on you, right? They keep hitting you, keep abuse you physically or verbally. You need to get away. That's why there's a restraining order here. You file a restraining order, or you file for divorce if they cannot help. At least you get separation. But in case we didn't know, then suddenly the person tried to kill us with the knife, with the gun, and then of course we have to defend ourselves on this one. I guess it's the last resort. We have to kill. If we accidentally kill him. This one, that's called justified killing, because we try to protect we try to defend ourselves from the attacker here. But my opinion is, if possible, try to get away from the person as soon as possible before it happens.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Yeah. Jimmy, you have another question or? Okay. Yeah. Ika, let me ask you this: that how do you think should we have a gun or should not?
No.
Yeah, no, and
no.
Then,
my answer no.
Because
why? If we make it illegal, I know it's already illegal, but if we encourage people to have gun, I'm afraid it will will end up in the irresponsible person. That's why that's why we'll end up to the wrong person. Like I saw a lot of horror story. The parents have a gun, and then the children accidentally took it and then kill, bring it to the school, and then kill the other student in the school.
Yeah.
Or the
Okay.
mentally, there's one of mass shooting, they owned by the parents. The gun was owned by the parents.
Okay, how about the anybody that respond to her that we civilians must have a gun and protect ourselves?
Is anybody agree to have gun?
Okay, Jimmy, you have a question? I mean, you have an answer for that? Yeah.
Well, spiritually, many Christians believe that owning a gun or carrying the bodyguard, police bodyguard, it means that you are undermining God's protection. If we strongly believe that God can protect us, we would have no need to own a gun for self-protection or carry escorts, guards for others, because we have the angels to guard us, we have God to guard us and to protect us. Generally, people who are spiritual, that's what they believe.
Okay.
So when people are carrying a gun, believers are carrying guns, or pastors are carrying gun, or going with escorts, they undermine them, saying that they are not spiritual or they are proud, they are bragging, those escorts and the like. So people don't take them too seriously, or don't take them so spiritually.
Okay, thank you. David Kimera, you have a question or a comment for that?
Yeah, a comment, Pastor Kim.
I ask Ika. Okay, go ahead.
I want to thank her for her good presentation. But I, as a person, my take on self-defense, I don't think it would be against even God and the law of the nation to defend myself against a wicked man who has come to take my life. And yeah, Christians so many times condemn. They say no, God is protecting us, and you find them with the bulldogs at home, and they keep these dogs for security. Then you wonder, it's double standards. But I don't think it is against the law to even have a stick in the house to kill these poisonous snakes that enter our houses at night. Although that is self-defense. You even having a panga in the house because you can use it for other things. But if somebody breaks into your house and that's all you have, I don't see any problem defending myself so long as I'm doing it to protect my family, because God has given us responsibility to take care of ourselves. Otherwise, we would not even be going to the hospitals when we are sick, because God is protecting us. We would just trust Him to heal us. So however much we are Christians, but we should avoid being double standards. When it comes to other things, we become so spiritual, and other things we are not so spiritual. So if we can go to the hospitals when we are sick, in the same way we can defend ourselves when we are attacked by enemies or by evil people. Yeah, as long as we are not supposed to take people's lives, but I don't see any problem with the self-defense. Otherwise, I appreciate her presentation.
Okay. Yeah, all right, thank you.
Okay, I agree with the brother that the first one, David GB. We should trust God. Don't be afraid. But I know, but as humans, sometimes we are afraid too. That's why we have a dog in our house. We have a security system in our house.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially when we have become famous or become rich here.
Yeah. Let me hear that how about the Pastor Han? How you're gonna respond for that?
Well, I totally agree. Just comment is that well, Ika doesn't agree to own guns, but I'm opposite. I think of course we don't have guns, but I think in the case of what Sister Ika was saying, where we have to defend our life, is necessary in that particular case. But I myself, I can see the need. However, we don't own guns because, to be honest, the risk of owning guns actually is quite big. You know that there is a lot of accidental killings and all that just because the person own a gun. So, in my opinion,
Well, it's true. Maybe in depends. A dangerous area, Pastor Kim, dangerous area is necessary, but where we live is not necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my opinion. It just depends.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay. Brother Santaba Ronald.
Yes. Good morning. Ronald is my name. I want also to emphasize one point that security isn't bad, but Ugandans, there are things you cannot manage. You go to extreme. It is like we don't want to admit, and we move in this guy's cowardish life. What is the essence of a pastor owning a gun and bodyguards on a pulpit? A pastor having a private security around your church? A pastor moving in a convoy, a man of God? You're supposed to welcome everyone. I mean, you're entering an inter-congregation and your bodyguards are pushing people over. And you've come to heal the people. Did you see that Jesus having that? And you're just busy, posing man of God, anointed man of God. No, no. You people of Uganda, there are some things that are not on our level. There are some things that we are just copying and we go into extreme.
Okay.
So it just depends. Like Pastor Hannah has said, depends who and where are you owning that gun and security.
Yeah. Okay. In America, we have this kind of dispute that can the or should pastor have a gun while he's preaching in the pulpit? Because sometimes there are a few cases that while pastor was preaching, one of the church members shoot him, or some visitors came and shoot him and kill him. So nowadays that they have argument that pseudo pastors have a gun. So if anybody want to shoot him, that before he got killed, he can kill. Can we do that? I think that two states, if I remember right, one is I think the Kentucky and the other one is Mississippi in America. I think the two states they allow for that. Yeah, but Ika, I agree that yeah, we should not have a gun. I hope that we don't need any guns, but America never give up the gun. American citizens, they are not going to give up the gun. You know why?
Why,
you know what?
Pastor?
The reason is that if we do not have a gun, government will abuse the civilians. So when the government try to abuse the civilians, we must also protect ourselves from the government. You know what I'm talking about? That's why they are not going to give up the gun. So when I was in the Dayton, Ohio, one of our church members, one day, he never showed me before, but one day, I don't know why, he asked me to come down to his downstairs basement, and then he showed me that the secret places, they have two different rooms. And when you get in there, you have to unlock. You have a key and unlock, okay? Then you get in there, and one side, there is a guns. Oh, he have 5 rifles and then also pistols there. And then the other room, you have to unlock there, and there is a bullets. And all these guns and pistols that they doesn't have any bullet, he put it in the other room. So you know what he said? He said, when he becomes so angry and I want to kill everybody, so he come down to basement and then he must unlock one door, right? It take time. It take like 30 seconds. And then when he went, go to the guns, and you have to open the door again. It takes time because there are two locks, and and it's like 1 minute, right? Then he must open the another door to get a bullet, right? So he have to put it there, right? So what he meant is that by this time, maybe in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, to take that, right? And hopefully he can come down and do not put it the bullet. That's why he designed like intentionally the 3 doors and then have a locks and let take time to unlock it. And I said, yeah, that's very wise. Yeah, but he loves, he cannot give up the gun because in case government, and then also this is a true, some countries, when the civilians do not have any gun, dictators usually control very easy way. You know what I mean? That's what we experienced that too. Still in Korea, you're not allowed to civilian to have a gun, but now because we don't have that kind of president anymore. But when we have a dictator, he can kill easily to the civilian. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's happened that like long time ago, like 30 or longer than 30, like 40, 50 years ago, the president, he was dictator and then nobody have a gun. So we don't know how many people he killed. But another president, he's a dictator also, when he revolted and the civilians, they rise up and then they attack the weapon like an arsenal, yeah, and then took the weapons out and then fight against the soldiers. Of course, a lot of civilians were killed. So America knows that if the civilians do not have a gun, government easily, especially dictators, easily control the civilians by the weapon. So that the Americans, they try not to get the gun from the civilians. Just allow that, but how to control it? That's the major problem. Yeah. Of course, that yeah, like you, Ika, you mentioned about it. I know that the some news that like a 3-year-old boy accidentally shoot it and kill his mom or something like that. Yeah, it's happened, but still they are not going to give up, right? Yeah. So, any other questions or the comments for that? Oh, David Camara, you have a questions or comment for that?
Yeah, a comment on guns. I dislike the way I see it. Like my brother Center was said, many pastors here are just proud. And actually, I don't regard such people as men of God because they don't even have love for people. They are just like Hades shepherds, just getting money from people and they swim around with the bodyguards and the guns. But again, I wouldn't mind if somebody has a gun for a genuine reason and that gun is registered and he pays taxes for it for security purpose. Because having a gun does not necessarily mean that you have a gun to shoot people. It's two-way. You give just warning shots in the air. You don't need to kill people. But so long as you see a criminal coming and he has a gun, he may think you don't have anything. But once he has bullets in the shot in the air, that criminal can run away. You don't need to kill them. I don't see any problem with somebody having a gun for genuine reasons. Especially here, and in fact, here in Africa, it would be even better for people to have guns if they are well sensitized on how to use them, because we have a lot of criminality in Africa here, whereby people are just killed for no good reason and they don't have any way to defend themselves. At the end of the day, people lose lives because there is no way they can defend themselves. So I wouldn't see any problem for somebody having a gun for security purpose, so long as that gun is going to be used in a way that is honoring God, not to kill people. Whoever comes your way, you kill. You know, I don't see any problem. But for pastors, who swear around with the bodyguards, with guns on pulpits. I don't see those people. In fact, I don't even call them pastors. I see them as machineries on pulpits. I personally, that's my take. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here also, like in America, that if any robbery comes with a gun, and then because if the robbery tried to kill you in front of you and you shot in and kill, that's your self-defense. But if robbery run away and you shoot him in the back and kill him, that's you become a murderer. Yeah, that's American law.
Yes,
and then
that's the same even here in Uganda.
So yeah, this is a really bad. When I come to America in 1983, I heard that the one of the pastors killed the elder in his church because this elder always against him. No matter what, he always aggravate him. And then one day they have church they are meeting, and then this elder start they complain about him and aggravate the pastor. So pastor said that nicely, yes, elder, I appreciate, and could I talk to you privately? So he take him to the next room and they shot him and kill him.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was told that at the time the rumor was, check your pastor whether he has a pistol or not. So this is a really one pastor did, but that's a really really bad news spread all over because a pastor, right? So we have to be very careful about that. Of course, the self-defense is very important, but yeah, what is the degree of that? Yeah. Okay. Any other question, please?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. Ntambi, yes, go ahead.
Thanks, Pastor Ika, for the good presentation and the awareness. But in the case of Uganda also, I would think to be contingent upon the areas in question. Like Uganda here, half of our borders actually are engulfed by Democratic Congo, DRC, and DRC has continued to be an insecurity place. Yet evangelism is ripe there. People are yearning for the word of God. So if somebody is to go to such a place, good enough, Uganda controls the western area, those areas borders. We will definitely need support in terms of military security and so on. And I got an opportunity to accompany Professor to Juba, and the territory is very hostile from Uganda to the capital of Juba, Southern Sudan. So if an evangelist was to dare and start a missionary work in the suburbs, would definitely need security covering. Yeah, so it would depend on the circumstances prevailing. Uganda, again, if you northern Kenya, Somalia has been a problem. And it was not for Uganda to keep those suburbs at bay. Kenya would really be a problem. And so I think a military, whatever, or security intervention is good for the gospel, depending on circumstances prevailing at that material time. Thank you. That's my intake.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I have a comment, little pastor. So yeah, I agree. If you go to very remote area, very dangerous area, probably necessary to have a bodyguard, pastor. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bodyguard.
Sure.
Yeah. So in America also, a long time ago, I do have the kind of problems before that one day I was driving and then I just park on shoulder area, and then I was so tired, so I park, and then maybe I was in the 5 minutes, and then I feel something strange. So when I open my eyes, oh, someone, aimed, the machine gun into my face. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I realized that the man, he was a Vietnam veteran. So he hate everybody. So he was isolated, and then also anybody passing by his home, and he want to shoot everybody like that. So yeah, it's a dangerous. There are many crazy people. Okay, Robert Charles. Yeah, Robert Charles, you have a comment or questions?
Yes, Professor.
Okay, go ahead.
I thank that servant of God for that good presentation. But I would suggest, I would comment and say, much as we are supposed to defend ourselves, self-defense is right. We should not go beyond God's boundaries for us. We should not go beyond God's will for us as we are defending ourselves. So we have to be careful with guns and all forms of self-defense. Thank you.
Okay, so Ika, you want to comment or? Yeah.
So the comment is, Pastor, we should not go beyond God boundary, right? So he agree with me, right? Do not have a gun, do not have...
Well, I told you that the Americans, they are not going to give up the gun. That's why how to control the gun. That's their point, not to get rid of all the confiscate all the guns. I know that some churches, they ask the money, let's buy a gun, and then from the civilians, so let's give up the guns. But you know what? So the church wanna buy guns. So the people bring the guns, and then the churches voted. But you know what? The gun shops, they import more guns, right? So they promote the gun shops business. That does not work. And I don't know why in the beginning the church has that kind of idea. I don't. And then they said they're so successful. I don't think so. Yeah. So yeah. Any other questions? Right. Thank you, Ika.